Welcome, Irish fans, to this week's edition of the Joe Schmidt and Jack Swarbrick Show. On today's show, we'll talk with Hall of Fame women's basketball coach Muffet McGraw and senior women's basketball guard Hannah Huffman. Now, here are your hosts for this special Halloween edition of the Schmidt-Swarbrick Show. Notre Dame captain and starting linebacker Joe Schmidt and Notre Dame vice president and director of athletics Jack Swarbrick. But the question is, who is who?
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Halloween edition of our show. So as I contemplated what costume I'd wear, I decided I wanted to be the scariest thing I possibly could. And for the Notre Dame fandom, the notion of seeing someone else in this jersey is a pretty scary proposition. So here I am. Modeling Joe Schmidt, and you're tireless, but you're trying. You're trying your best.
I did my best. It was on short notice, and I figured this was my best business casual I could do. Unfortunately, I don't have the tie. I know, but are we gonna get you out of practice this Thursday? It's perfect practice Thursday.
Yeah. Come back. Well, that's why you won't. It's perfect practice Thursday.
I don't know, man. You're looking pretty good in
that. I figure it'd be really hard on Nick and Quentin, and Steve if they had to try and deal with me. So.
No, they can't help you. The good news is there's no pads hopefully today, so they might stand a chance if you're using more hands.
Yeah, exactly. Violent hands.
It's a violent hands.
Violent hands.
Feet game.
That's exactly. And thanks for doing the beard. To try and get into it.
I sold out for this costume. I really did everything I could to become Jack Swarbrick. I've been thinking all morning, meditating about what
we could have shaved your head.
That's what I should have done. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the glasses either, so.
Yeah. Well, it's been an interesting 2 weeks since we last visited. Normally during bye week we do this show. They said if Joe can't do the show, we're just doing a best of. Forget it. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to be back on the air. So we got 2 weeks to cover here, and it starts with a pretty fun football game in a great atmosphere. Take us back to that.
Oh my! It's going to be one of those memories that stays with me for the rest of my life. Beating USC in front of Notre Dame Stadium. It's one of my last times. I've only got one more time now at Notre Dame Stadium. And I'm now 3-0 in games I've played against USC in. So it was so sweet, especially growing up in Southern Cal, and knowing the rivalry in that way, and now from this perspective, it's funny. I almost have like nothing to say about it. It's such a fond moment for me.
They went through some turmoil leading up to the game, but. Came out with guns blazing, had a great first drive, and I thought a really critical moment of the game was the way we responded to that first play. Deshaun DeWill really sort of set the tone that hey, we're ready.
Well, what I loved is that Adoree Jackson, the guy that had thrown Will had gone against on that play, had been saying all week that he was going to, lock up Will Fuller, which I thought was, so funny that, we try to stay out of the media as much as possible, usually. But in this instance, we had seen that one, and I thought it was appropriate that was the first play call, and that ended up being the result. So we knew it was going to be a heavyweight fight from the beginning, and they were going to get some plays, and we were going to get some plays, and fortunately for us, we ended up making one or two more than they did on that Saturday night.
Well, and especially it was, and Coach said that at halftime. This is going to be that sort of game. But in the second half, some great defensive plays really made the difference because both teams were moving the ball very effectively, but. Several big defensive plays.
Yeah, individual guys stepped up, in great ways. I mean, Kavari's interception was absolutely phenomenal. You don't see interceptions like that every day. We had great defensive line play. Sheldon Day was playing out of his mind, his hair on fire. Our safeties were playing well, tackling well, and I got the Predator next to me, which is nice, and really guys were just stepping up and doing what we needed to do to win the football game. And I remember walking up and down the sideline, and we were all talking, and there was just a look of conviction, in everyone's eye, and it was like it doesn't matter what the score is, if it's 20-21, if it's 50-49, we're gonna win. We're gonna have one more point than these guys. We're not gonna accept anything else, and that was something that was special to be a part of, and was just a great game. It was such a great night.
Well, and it was one of those games where everybody does contribute, and special teams played such a big role in this game. Obviously, the punt block was huge. We were getting some good return yardage. We were flipping the field. Just a great day for special teams.
Yeah, another Southern California native coming up big against Southern Cal with Equanimeous St. Brown, big punt block, and then the scoop and score. It's funny. We had seen him running that play all week. In the punt return drills, and you always wonder, like, is this gonna work? And it actually ended up working even better than we thought it would. So hats off to those guys, and really Jarrett Grace got no credit for it, but he took on like 3 guys in the middle there, and EQ was unblocked, so it was really special. And then the return game was great. Guys were making plays, and we contained one of the best return men in the country in Adoree Jackson. So it was a great special teams effort, and really I think they directly contributed to winning the football game. They were excellent.
Yeah, you mentioned Sheldon, somebody we got to get on the show before
we do
before the year ends. Now that he's a television celebrity, but he really has been playing at a different level this year.
Yeah, and I mean, he's healthy, he's strong, and it's ridiculous. Sheldon's natural traits. He's not the tallest guy, but he's 300 pounds, and he's so explosive and so fast. His first 3 steps are better than probably anyone's on the football team, and that's including the receivers like Will Fuller. So it's actually sad for me to watch, because I realize how unathletic I am in relation to Sheldon. So
not true, but that's okay.
No. He really is an excellent player, and he's dedicated. He's become he leads that defensive line room, and he's one of the leaders in our defensive meeting room. And to see what he's done with that defensive line, and how they're a cohesive unit. They work together before and after practice. They're doing drills, and that's the stuff that maybe you see the production on Saturdays, but what you don't see is Sheldon leading the whole defensive line before 10 minutes before practice doing hand drills. So he's been great. He's been absolutely fantastic this year.
Well, and as America got to see, you went through the Showtime series. You went home for break. Spent a little time on the beach. How was it?
I was going to say, I should be thanking you, right, for scheduling the bye week and
yes, you should,
and our fall break at the same time. So thank you very much. But it was great to go home. Showtime came back and documented a little bit of it. I got to see some of my old buddies that I haven't seen in a long time. Saw my head football coach. Saw my high school beat our rival high school. So it was really a jam-packed 3 or 4 days there, but so good to get home. And it was right in the middle of a heat wave in Southern California. So it was 85 at the beach and sunny, and I'm sure that was something that you would like to be participating in. What did you do for your bye week?
Yeah, I worked. Thanks. It's not a bye week for
say,
me.
You don't get the bye week?
I don't get the bye week. And it's got to be a little easier to go back home with the W.
Oh my gosh! So I can't tell you how many times I saw the cardinal and gold, maybe emblazoned on someone's bumper, or on a flag on a house, or people just wearing USC gear all over, and it feels so good to just be able to smile and just wave and wear all of my Notre Dame Under Armour clothing, and it really was so. It's going to be so great, and for the rest of my life, this is going to be the memory I have of USC, and I mean we talked about that during the game, that this was one game for the rest of our lives, and that's how we feel about it, and we're just so happy to have won the game.
Great outcome, but no rest.
No,
you jump from the frying pan to the fire, as they say, going into the home territory of a nationally ranked team having a phenomenal year, presenting a challenge that maybe when at the start of the season, when you looked at this game, you may not have anticipated it, but as Penn State found out, a really good football team. We're going to be playing in an electric atmosphere in the Link, Halloween weekend. Tell us a little bit about Temple.
So that's what you love college football, really, is teams like Temple. You don't know until you've watched the tape, but Temple's an excellent football team. They're extremely well coached. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, and really we saw early on in the year, we watched Temple play the University of Massachusetts on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
And we knew right from there that these guys can play. And so we were, I've known for probably a lot longer than maybe some of the rest of the country has known that this is a heck of a football team. I'm really looking forward to going into Philly and playing them, and on a hostile environment with the Link. They sold it out. College Gameday, and this is one of the reasons you come to Notre Dame, to play in games like this. And this is the second game day experience of the year for us, and we're just looking to go in there and play Notre Dame football and try to play a complete game and hopefully compete well with a great opponent. So it's going to be a great weekend this weekend.
You made a really good point that I think sometimes we take a little bit for granted, and that is, part of what independence affords us in our approach to scheduling. But another game moved to a primetime national broadcast, another game of the year where game day has come in to the city in which we're playing. You just get a lot of those opportunities here, and it makes for a great season in terms of interest and excitement. The flip side of that is it's a grind. We'll get back here at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I almost look forward to that, though. I like going on the road and playing in games like this, and that that feeling on Sunday. It's kind of it's the fun part about playing this game and having that opportunity. But you do hit on the right on the head. I don't really know of another program that has the opportunity to play. We play all of our games obviously on NBC at home, and in the Shamrock Series. But then we have, we're always in the national spotlight. Partly due because Coach Kelly's got it tuned up here, but at the same time we get to play the absolutely fantastic opponents. So it's a blast to be a part of this university and to be a part of this football program, and we are all really looking forward to hopefully performing well on Saturday.
And it takes us to a lot of great venues, like another NFL venue.
Yeah. How many have we been to now? I say we. It's like I've been here the whole time. Almost that you've been here. We're going again. It's Cowboy Stadium and Lucas Oil and FedEx. It's
the Bears Stadium.
Yeah,
we've been all
Soldier Field.
It's
unreal. So.
Yep. Well, we'll get off football and in our next two segments talk to the leadership of one of the great basketball programs in the country, and we'll come back and do that in a minute.
Sounds good.